Good afternoon. We are extremely pleased that you are still on board. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You're ready to take thought beyond what it has been before?
Yes.
You know what you are wanting? You're ready to have a conversation with us about it? What do you want to talk about? There's a lot of trouble in this room. All right. Just getting a sense of you. It's going to be a really good day. Begin right here.
Like everyone, this is a surprise. Okay, I had 2 questions, but I believe it's the same thing.
It often is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your point of attraction seems to keep pointing out the same things to you.
Yeah. So really it's, how do I maintain feeling good? Because I can feel so joyful. And I've had times when I felt like I was everything and everyone. And yet I can be here with my closest ones I love, and then they're negative and I don't like it. And I know that that's to do with me, but I want to feel good and I don't want to mind that they're not feeling good.
Well, it's about focus, isn't it? It's not just about focusing in the moment, but it's about the preparation to focus that you've done before. We've been calling it getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday, about how if you are focused upon what's going on in your experience and you are letting what's happening, how others are feeling or how others are behaving, set the tone for your vibrational stance, then sometimes you are ill-prepared to hold steady to who you really are. You let something else set the tone. But it's important to know that no one can upset your vibration if you haven't practiced it being upset quite a bit. You're not holding steady, holding steady, holding steady, holding steady, and then all of a sudden law of attraction is broken and giving you something entirely different than what you've got going on. So we like to combine the words or the notions of law of attraction with the concept of momentum. So if you've been feeling good, if you woke up feeling good, and you usually do, and you focused yourself into appreciation, which is not hard to do when you first awaken, and you took care of yourself by refreshing, get something to eat, get something to drink, meditate, take care of yourself, get some momentum going about feeling good. And if you've done that day after day after day after day after day, so that you are naturally steady, then you've got better shock absorbers, so to speak. Then things that might ordinarily upset you wouldn't upset you. Or even when they do, because things happen, things that you're not expecting surprise you. Someone announces something to you that you weren't expecting and it throws you off a little bit. But the question is, how far off does it throw you? And the answer to that question is, how steady were you before? How steady were you before something threw you? Because if you're steady, it doesn't throw you very far, and the solution comes easily into your mind. It's possible for you to be interacting with someone who's way out of whack, and since you're not so much, while you might feel the discord, your introduction into that experience or into that vibration would only serve to focus you. It wouldn't throw you off your game, because you're way past blaming others for the way you feel, and you're way past being problem oriented. You're solution oriented all the time, looking for the solution, looking for the solution. And so there's nothing really more inviting for a solution oriented person than to see, oh boy, a problem. It doesn't even upset you that much, because things are easy to tweak into place when you are in alignment, not so much when you are not. So the question is, are you fanning the flames of the problem? Are you making the problem worse? Or were you in the receiving mode where the solution came easily to you and the remedy is right there too, you see? The first and most important thing that you have to do is you have to take responsibility, or credit might be a softer word. You must take responsibility or credit for what's happening in your experience. And by that we mean by how you are feeling. Now we've been talking, and we'll talk a lot in these days that we are together, about thoughts turning to things, about vibrations turning to thoughts, and those thoughts gathering momentum, and then that momentum eventually coming to a manifestation, a tangible, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it manifestation. But it's nice to acknowledge that in the early stages of manifestations, the first manifestation is an emotion. So that's really what you want to pay attention to. What is my earliest of manifestations when I am entering into an equation that includes other people and maybe other beliefs? Maybe they've already got momentum going. Because if your emotion is one of, I'm solid and I'm clear and it's going to be all right, then you are going to hold your own during whatever is taking place. But if you go immediately to anger, if you go immediately to being upset, if you go immediately to fear or dread or insecurity, then you're just going to have to ride it out. But in the process of riding it out, you're going to launch more rockets of desire, asking for a more steady life experience, which is what you really want. And so once you understand that, it just takes some practice. Yes?
Just practice. Okay. So when I'm with certain people that are being...
Pardon our intrusion. What is the practice that we're talking about? It's the practice of a steady vibration. It's the practice of the first manifestation. In other words, let's say that something's going on in your household, and let's say it's been going on before you entered the room. So it's not really your manifestation, it's someone else's. They're in there and they have manifested a disagreement, maybe even an argument, something you don't want. It's manifested. It's going on in that room. So now you enter the room. Now what we would like you to hear us say, and work a little bit in these days that we are together to understand, is that your first manifestation when you enter that room is your emotional response to whatever is going on in there. If you've been loving all of them, if you've been appreciating them, if you've been knowing their value, if that's how you roll, if that's what's going on with you, so that's steadily where you are, you could walk into literal chaos and most likely hold your stability, because it's your momentum that equals your manifestation, not theirs. But if you are not accustomed to being aware of your manifestation, what manifestation are you bringing to the room? What energy are you bringing to the room? What vibration are you bringing to the room? Because you see, it's not the argument between that one and that one, or even the argument between that one and you. It's the argument between you and you that equals your point of attraction. You see what we're getting at? So if you've decided that you're going to feel good today, and that you know life's going to go on, things are going to be happening around you, people who are very well-meaning are often going to be making decisions on your behalf that might not set well with you. In other words, people aren't out to get you, and yet sometimes when you get crossways with yourself, and so you're not feeling good, it feels like there's a power that is working against you, and there never is. There is never any power that is working against you. It is only you not being in the receiving mode to experience the manifestation that is natural to you. Does that make sense? So you want to talk about something, or did we get there for you?
Yeah, you got there. But also, so there seems to be sometimes when you go into rooms or with people, there are things that seem really off. And I seem to yawn a lot and seem to have a reaction that I can't overcome. And I've got to just find a quiet place, then I'm okay again. And I wondered if there's any way where I can just go in before that. And Well, actually, really what it is I've had these times when I really have felt like I was the earth, the air, the everything. And
You're talking about alignment with your inner being, and you're talking about seeing the world or seeing that moment through the eyes of Source.
yeah.
And then there are other times when not so much.
So not. Yeah.
Well, if something really feels off, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would walk right out the door we just walked in. Like if you walked into a room and there was a visible inky mist and you saw people dropping like flies all around you, we don't think you'd hang around. We don't think you'd say, I can overcome this. We think you'd exit quickly. And so there is toxic energy every now and again. In other words, there's stuff going on that won't kill you, but it's not to your advantage either. What happens with so many like you, a room full of teachers here, you are born uplifters. And so what happens so often is that you want to put yourself in the middle of it and fix it. But the thing about that is you're not going to fix it in the moment of your awareness of the problem. You're only going to aggravate the problem because your attention to the problem just adds more energy to it. It just makes it more. It's just the way law of attraction works. And so go in, take your calculations, acknowledge what it is, and then make your next decision. And it is not a bad decision to leave.
Even if it seems a bit rude.
Really, you should stay and drop like flies like the rest of them. You'll hardly be noticed. In other words, if there's really something going on and you come in all bright and shiny, you'll be part of the problem. No one really appreciates someone who's fluffy and bright when they're not. Oh, what are you doing here? I suppose you're here to cheer us up. Not really. I'm just going to save my life.